I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, in the news here, let's cover a bunch of topics here. Pre-construction, the state of the pre-construction market. I've been following this for you guys for quite a while now, as you know. You know how I feel about pre-sales and pre-constructed condos, the risk you're taking. It's just not worth the price you're paying, which is more expensive than tangible product, but I'll get into that in a minute. But the latest thing is here, in helping these developers, which are really struggling in Canada, especially in Vancouver, Lower Mainland here. They've announced now a GST rebate, up to $1 million purchase for first-time buyers, and then a partial rebate up to $1.5 million. Well, first off, I don't know too many first-time buyers that are buying a $1.5 million condo. I don't know too many first-time buyers that are buying $1 million condo, but they will give you the full 5% rebate up to $1 million if you're a first-time buyer. Remember, guys, first-time buyer, they're pretty strict on this. You cannot have owned anywhere in Canada. So it's good. I'm all for it. It's great. It's an olive branch to developers because, if you guys know, developers are in a world of hurt right now and have been for a while. Nothing unexpected. I've been talking about this for years and years on my blog here about the current business environment locally here that the NDP have created, and to some extent the city, because they've got their hands out everywhere too, City of Vancouver, for permitting and community amenities contributions and all that other stuff. I tell you guys, it's about $200,000 per one bed, and close to $300,000 for every two bed built goes straight to various levels of the government, city, provincial, and a little bit to the federal government as well, in the form of taxes, fees, and all that other good stuff. So they're the ones that have their hands out pretty much at every corner. If you wanted to cut home building by 20 or 30% price of home, we just phase out all the taxes and fees they put on, but they'll never do that, of course. So this is an olive branch to the developers. Well, we got to get some homes built. Not much is getting built, as you guys know. I've been following this for years and years. I've told you guys the only thing really getting built right now in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, with the exception of a couple of ultra luxury developments, is market rental buildings now. They were going to be condo, but they've all been scrapped over the last few years for market rental. I've got two of them, two large towers going up at the end of my block here in the West End. So, is it going to move the needle, removing the 5% GST for first-time home buyers? It's not. First off, the other thing I would tell, if you guys want to know more about how I feel about pre-sales and the risks you're taking, please use the search box in my YouTube channel here and just put in pre-sale condos, and it'll bring up 20 or 30 videos I've done over the last 14 years on this. I've probably done at least 50 videos in the last 10 years on pre-sales, the risk, why I don't recommend them. They're overpriced for the most part. You don't get the keys for 5, 6, 7 years on it, and there's just better value in the tangible market. But, these pre-sale, again, I feel for developers. I always throw this out there. They are in a very tough situation right now, trying to get anything built, because to deliver the product, once they go through all the process to secure the land, get a construction company, getting the materials, the marketing company, put it through the NIMBYs, get everything approved, put another 50, 100 grand to the city for community upgrades and all the other stuff they go through, probably 10 years from start to finish. Lots of things can change in that time. They've got a tough business they're in right now. Don't get me wrong, when all things go right and in good times, they make great money. But in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been a tough go for them. But, to deliver this product, though, at a price per square foot, all you've got to do is take a look at that compared to what tangible product is at. And it doesn't have to be old. Just look at 1, 2, 3-year-old condos. Or you could even look at a 20-year-old condo in a grade A location, because most of these new developments, new strata, are not in grade A or grade B. They're pushing grade C locations now. We've already built on the prime stuff. So now you're getting stuff on hugging up on bridges or busy intersections and all that other good stuff. So you do a comparison on a price per square foot and what you're getting, and the pre-sale is just too expensive. And then when you tack in all the risk you're taking, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from the time you lay down that deposit to the time you get keys, Lots of stuff can go wrong. You lose your job, you're disabled, divorce, interest rates go through the roof, whatever. Market values go down and it's worth less than what you paid for it, which I'll get to in a minute here. So many things go wrong. Plus, you don't know what you're getting, of course. You have no idea what the finished product really is going to be like. Yes, the display center will give you some, but so many things can change in that 5 or 6 or 7 years. So you're just simply better off buying, in my opinion, for the most part, unless special circumstances, which go into my archives, and I talk about that with pre-sales, where it's a really special unit that can't be replicated in the tangible market, which is almost never, then it just doesn't make sense to be buying pre-sale for that risk. So sure, take away the 5% GST, but geez, in my opinion, you're probably paying 10-15% more than what I could get you in the tangible market that you could move in today, and I could negotiate a price for you that won't have GST, of course. So you're already paying a huge premium of 10 or 15% or maybe more, and we're going to rebate you back 5% GST. So it's not really all that good of a deal. So it's kind of like in the news here recently, there was that developer out in Surrey that offered 25% off his remaining units and people lined up for it. Well, 25% off what? That's what you got to ask yourself. 25% off the rack rate that he was trying to get or did sell at 4 or 5 years ago? Well, today's market is completely different than that market. So as a lot of people pointed out on the news, I'm not too sure if that 25% was really such a great deal. But it is what it is. It was a good marketing gimmick, and I hear the developer moved the remaining product that he wanted to get off the books. So we'll see what happens here. I think with this GST rebate, keep in mind, guys, that it has to be pre-sale, first-time buyer. You do pay the GST. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this. You will still pay the GST on completion. Then you'll fill in some forms and whatnot, and you will get that rebate back from Revenue Canada down the road sometime. I don't know how long it takes, but I believe it's a rebate, which means you have to pay it first, and then you'll get the money back. But, you know, pre-sale is a tough go. I mean, I think this is a step in the right direction. I don't think it's going to move the needle. And again, I would tell young first-time buyers to hire a good realtor. If that area you want to live in is Brentwood or Metrotown or Richmond or downtown Vancouver, have that realtor show you some tangible product, some good quality strata in that price range that you can move in today, and or next month or the month after that. And I think you'll quickly realize that the pre-sale probably isn't the way to go. Sure, it's shiny and new, but you can get something that's a couple years old for less money, negotiate a price. There's no GST on that either. You know, it said here, the typical buyer in the Financial Post here with this, first-time buyer, will save $27,000. So sure, every little bit helps, but $27,000 for not getting the keys for 5 or 6 years, not sure exactly how the tangible product is going to look, your parking space and all that other stuff. Of course, you're not going to be able to get your financing done until 3 or 4 months before completion. So sure, you can talk to your bank and see if you qualify based on your current numbers, but it doesn't mean anything, guys. It's not in writing. There's no guarantee there at all. You'll have to qualify for the mortgage closer to completion, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the road. Most of these are not in as good of a location as the tangible product, especially if you want to get into the 20 or 25-year-old reno condos. Those can be some of the best values out there that are in grade A locations like here in the West End. They're not making that anymore. Most of these now are on busier streets, busy thoroughfares. Final little thing here I'll point here, and some of the rest, this was in the Globe and Mail the other day. Vancouver pre-sale condos sold in 2022 and 2023 are now appraised below their original purchase price. So yeah, you're seeing a lot of this play out. I know you're seeing this play out on this Butterfly unit down here that was pre-sold 5 years ago at very high prices, $2,500 a square foot to well over $3,000 a square foot. They don't appraise like that for what they paid for these anymore. So what's going to happen is they're just getting completion on this building. The bank is looking at these and saying, we need you to kick in another 50, 60, 70, 80, depending on the price of the unit you bought, down to make to get this loan. I know we said you could qualify with X amount, but times have changed. Since you bought this 3, 4, 5 years ago, that 2-bed, 2-bath we think is worth $150,000 less than what you paid for it. So you have to come up with that extra down payment funds. If you don't, you're in serious trouble. So these are the perils and the risks of buying pre-sale. You guys know I've been on this a long time, and I've been, probably the last 10 years I've told you guys, be careful with pre-sale. It used to be incredible. Most buyers these days have no idea what the pre-sale market used to be like 15 years ago. Believe it or not, you used to buy these units less than what tangible product was at. The construction times were way less. 2 years, 2.5 years, you'd have keys. You could assign the property if you decided to, if you lost your job or had a job transfer or just changed your mind, no problem. You could hire me, I could put it on the MLS and sell it as an assignment with virtually no fees. Everything now has shifted all the way over to the developer when it used to be all the way over to the buyer, believe it or not. Ask your dad about it if you're one of my younger viewers. I used to buy them all the time, and I used to buy assignments all the time. But everything has changed now. Now you're paying a premium price. Construction times are way longer. You can't get out of the contract. You can't sell it as an assignment. At least it's very difficult to, because they won't allow you to put it on the MLS. So the landscape has changed. So sure, 5% GST rebate for first-time buyers up to $1 million, and a partial one up to 1.5. But just like this condo that had a blowout sale, pre-sale of 25% off, 25% off what? And 5% off your pre-sale, you're already paying a 15% premium for that pre-sale, guys. And I think there's much better value in the tangible market. Final thing I'll say is, I'm not throwing developers under the bus. I feel for these developers. What they should be doing here, guys, is a couple of things. I've talked about this. We should be removing the GST on all buyers, not just pre-sale buyers, because I don't think this is going to move the needle that the developers need so we can start building some product. The other thing, we should be adjusting the PTT. Biggest scam going. It's never been adjusted in 35 years to reflect our current housing prices. Guys, when it was first introduced in the 80s, that amount over $2,000 at 2%, it only triggered 5% of the sales that were priced over $200,000. 5% of the total sales in the Vancouver Real Estate Board. Now, of course, it's 100%. You can't even buy a studio for under $400K now. So it's nuts. The government at all levels are the ones that are really, the real ones that are keeping these prices elevated here. We need to definitely build more supply, but we need to start cutting some of the red tape, some of the taxes and bureaucracy that government charges as well. I'm Owen Bigland. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.